What's up? I'm Reese Logan from Cruising the Frets, and I'm going to teach you how to play Walk This Way by Aerosmith. That includes the first solo, but not the second one at the end because that would require a whole nother video. And it's an E standard. It's a really fun, catchy song to play on guitar. Some good finger exercises in there that really stretch your finger in some of the riffs. So let's get started. Alright, so here's how you play the intro / pre-chorus / the main riff, the whole reason why you want to learn this song. You know the... Alright, so this is how it goes, and specifically the beginning, and then it starts to change. I'll explain that. So, starts off. So to do that, we're going to hit the open A string, and then go to the first fret to the second fret on that same string. And you're going to then go down a string and hit the second fret of the D string. And do that twice. And then after you hit the D string, hit the open E string. And you do the little mute the string. So just lightly have your hand over the string without pressing down too hard, and then hit maybe just like the top 3 or 2, or the first one. And when you hit the open A in the 1-2, you can palm mute it. It doesn't make too much of a difference. And so that's the first little thing. And then the second one goes. So we're going to repeat the little 0-1-5 down a string. But instead of open E, you're going to do. So that's just picking on the E string, the 3rd fret, bending it down a little, letting it hit the open, so just like kind of pull off. And then you're going to end it with that D string 2nd fret. The third one is basically the same as the first one without the... Alright, and so that 4th one just leads right into the verse. So after you do that little thing, instead of hitting the open E, you're going to hit a power chord on the 5th fret of the E string. So that means have your ring finger on the A string on the 7th fret. And we're going to slide that up 2 frets to the 8th fret on the E string. And that completes that little section. And in the other parts following that, it's going to go. So really the only thing that's different is on the first one, instead of going, you just, mute it more. And on the part where it used to go, it's going to go. So you're going to do open E and then do the little 3 pull off to the 2 on the D string. And then repeat that one. And we just end it the same way we ended the first one. So that's how it varies a little throughout the song. And in between that is the verse, and that goes. That was basically just the same little phrase repeated. So don't get too scared of that, because it's pretty simple. Well, time-wise, but it is a bit of an exercise on the finger, but that's good. This will help reach your, let you reach with your pinky more, because that's what you're going to have to do for this. So slowly, this is what's being repeated. So to do that is we're going to have the little power chord on the 8th fret on the E string with 10th fret on the A string. Alright, so we're going to pick the 8th fret 3 times and then go down a string, pick that once, again, and then we're going to use our pinky to hit the 12th fret on that A string, and then back to the 8th. And then we're going to hit again the 8th fret on the E string, and that is going to be D string on the 10th fret. And then after that, you're going to hit the A string on the 10th fret 2 times. And that's what's going to come after that. So it's going to be 13th fret, this is all on the A, 13th fret, go back to the 10th fret, and then the 12th, and then back to the A. So it's a bit of a stretch, and again, slowly it is. And you just repeat that. That last part, after you hit the A string 2 times, after you're going to hit the power chord on the 5th fret again. Or you can do an open A, which is the A string open with the D string 2nd fret. And that leads into the little riff I showed you, varied, the little variant where it does cool little things differently than the intro. And that takes us to the chorus, which is basically there's 2 guitars going on. You can kind of play both parts if you want. So this is the rhythm. So that's when he's saying walk this way. And this is what the lead guitar is playing along with that. So if you were to play both, it would go. So these are just simple power chords, again on the 8th fret, with the A string on the 10. So, and then you're gonna basically strum that. Strum it twice, but use your pinky to hit the 12th fret of the A string, and then the 13. And then you're just gonna do that same thing, just go down a string. So that starts on the 8th fret of the A string and the D string on the 10th fret. And you move from 10 to 12 to 13. On the lead is this little simple chord. Hit the 8th fret of the G string with the 10th fret of the B string. So you strum it. And then the second time, every time it repeats, you're just gonna add with your pinky the 11th fret of the E string. That little note. So if you got a little tremolo, you can bend it. And that's how you do that. And that leads into the solo. And so the rhythm guitar during the solo is just this thing. So if you don't want to play, that's all you need to play during it. But if you do want to play the solo, this is how you do it. So the solo sounds like. Now this was one of the first solos I learned when I started playing guitar. So if you're just starting off, don't be afraid to try it out. Just use it, practice it, eventually you'll get it. And so this starts off with a bend on the 11th fret of the E string. Pretty cool. And then this is a little exercise with hammer-ons and pull-offs if you're new to that. So basically what we're doing is we have our first finger on the 8th fret of the E string, picking that, and hammering on to the 11th fret of that same string. So we're not going to pick the 11th fret, we're just going to move our finger onto it. And then we pull off. So pull it off the string, but do it like as if you're picking it with your finger, so it rings out when it goes back to the 8th. So, and after that you're going to hit the 11th fret of the B string, and then pick the 8th fret of the E string again, and then go back again to the 11th fret of the B string, but bend it. So, and after that it goes. So you're just building up, so just pick the 8th on the E string, 11 of the B, then we're going to go to the 8th of the B, and then we're going to go to the 11th of the G string, pick the 10, and pull it off to 8 on the same string. And then we're going to hit the 10th fret of the G string 3 times. And on the 3rd time you're going to bend it up. And then hit the 8th fret of the G string again. And And that is hitting on the D string, the 10th fret, and then the 10th fret on the B string, bending it up. And that's basically the first half of the solo, so once you got that down, you can move on to this part. Alright, so once you do the bend on the 10th fret of the B string, you're going to bring it back down and pull off to the 8th fret. And then pick the 10th of the G, and then go back to the 8th of the B. And then it's gonna go. So we're doing that same little rolling thing where you pick the 11th on the G. You could hammer, I mean you could pull off to the 11th. From the 11th to the 10th. And then to the 8th. And we're gonna do that where we pick the 10th to the 8th, pull off to the 8th, do it twice. And then do the little rolling thing again where you start on the 11 and then 10 and 8. And then one more time of the 10, 8. And then 11th fret of the B string, gonna bend it up. The last note is 7 of the D string. So all together, slowly. Second half. And that is the solo. Alright, and the only other part is the last solo, which I'm gonna show you the rhythm for that. Pretty simple. It's just like the main riff. Gonna do that. And then on the second time it goes. So you're gonna hit the 5th fret of the E string, or even play the power chord. And then eventually you're gonna hear in the rhythm, or along with the rhythm, a third guitar is doing that little chord we did. So it kind of accompanies it. So you can kind of switch off. You can play whichever one you want. And that is how you play Walk This Way. If you like that video, you can subscribe to my channel, Cruising the Frets. Follow me on Instagram, @Cruising the Frets. I'll have more videos. Yeah, and tutorials on stuff, explaining music things and all that fun stuff. Thanks.